thank you for coming to this late evening show. So I will talk about how you can use Wikidata Query and QuickStatements to detect missing data or non-matching or wrong data, and to automatically correct, so in a semi-automatic way, thousands of mismatched items. So I am Geert van Pamel. I'm using Wikipedia in editing mode since 2005. I have been using Wikidata since 2012, so right from the beginning after Lydia Pincher presented it in Utrecht. So, I have an ICT background, so I'm working natively with databases since 35 years. Okay, so what we want with Wikidata is we want to have an integrated system where we can document the complete world, and we do it in an open way. So we are using a lot of technology from the database world, entities, relationships, values, and we want to model it into an open system. Okay, so therefore some people talk about items, instances, subjects. So whatever term we will use here, we consider it as being equivalent. Properties and attributes, objects, values, identifiers. Okay, you all know. The license, all those things you know, but I kept them to be an introduction to people not related to our system. You know the photograph, sorry. Okay. So the motivation of this session, Wikidata is extremely open. In the talk about this morning, it was highlighted that because everybody can edit, constraints checking is done afterwards and not proactively before saving the data. The quality of the data needs to be verified, okay, continuously. So Wikidata Query allows to write SPARQL queries in an interactive way, and it allows to identify missing data or mismatched data. So, and QuickStatements can then automatically use to amend the wrong data. So here you see the overall process. You detect the problem, you can analyze it, you can execute a SPARQL query. The results of the SPARQL query you can export, for example, to Excel or to another tool, and then you can quickly edit the Excel results. You select the key value pair in a format that QuickStatements can easily execute it. And then you copy paste it into QuickStatements, you execute it, you review any remaining errors, and then those errors you can edit manually to do any remaining work. Okay, so just something all of you already know, but just for having it on one page. Also, yeah, you know, you can display the subjects, the properties, the object, and so on. Okay, so basically, I list here some things that you can automatically detect. You can detect for your own language or for any language you choose. You can detect items that does not have a label. When you create a new item, only one language is mandatory, but all the other languages can be very useful as well. And you have to know that the English Wikipedia is the most important one. So even if people create an item in Dutch, it is of high value to create the label in English also, because then within hours you see that other people from other languages, they start creating labels in their own language because they look at English. They don't look at Dutch because it's a smaller language with fewer people, fewer contributors. So it's important that you duplicate labels at least in the English language. I will show you how you can do it. The same for descriptions. A missing description can be a real handicap if it is missing in your own language or in the English language. For example, also missing inter-wiki links. Okay, you can easily detect the same way. Constraints. Okay. You should never have two items with the same label and the same description. When you execute quick statements, adding labels, you can run into this problem because very frequently in important families you have sons and grandsons that have the same name as the father or the grandparent. And then if you detect there is a missing label or a missing description, you execute that missing label or missing description, and then you can have an error reported by Wikidata that the same label, combination label and description is used by another item, the father, the grandfather. Okay, so a workaround, you can manually edit them, the grandfather, who is most probably already has died, and you can add his birth date and death date between parentheses. Okay. For example, duplicating or conflicting properties. You could have a birth date containing only the year and another birth date containing the full date. So this way you can detect possible problems as well. Reciprocal properties or symmetric properties. If you have two communes being neighboring communes or neighboring cities, if city A is neighbor of city B, city B should be neighbor of city A. So this is also easily detected. Being part of or has parts the same way. Then quality. Okay. I take the second point. You can, for a person, male or female, you can document the gender, but I have seen frequently that as the value, somebody takes woman as the value for or the object for a gender, but this is wrong. It should be female. Okay. So with Wikidata Query, you can identify all those mismatched property values. If you want, for female functions, if there is the male function that is used, you could correct it and you could put it into the female function description. Okay, a description being identical to the label has little value, because if the description is really the same as the label, the description should not be filled in, I feel.
What is a female function?
Function? No. It's the for a gender, you can have female or male. Okay, you should not use woman or man, because that's another.
In your slide, you have written female function. What is this?
Female function. A painter, an actor or an actress. The profession or the job or the what he or she is doing.
Yeah, but it's only one item.
It's only one item?
Yes, because we should use property female
but
names of this occupation.
Yes.
But it's one item.
Yeah,
There
I
is
know.
no
Okay.
case where you should be using two different items for the same profession.
No. What I mean is in the description. You
yes,
have
okay.
Belgium actress,
Yes.
for example.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry
I understand.
for the confusion. Okay, so yes, okay. Oh yes, preferred languages. I already mentioned how important it is to have at least the English language as well as any other local language. Okay. Typical examples also in Belgium, Canada and Switzerland. We are a multilingual country, so for all the objects located in Belgium, we would need do a description in both languages.
Can I ask a question about that? Well, the previous point actually. I heard someone say that if we put a label, let's say in Japanese or Chinese, the alias should also be in English, not necessarily
Yes,
putting it in.
I would do the same thing.
So there's actually a label for English and also an alias with the name in English if it's a foreign language. Do I get it correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would personally fill in the most generic label into each of those special languages to make it readable for other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So if you're creating a label, let's say in Chinese, and that's like the first time the item is opened, then you'll put the alias in English as well.
Could be an application.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On the Japanese label.
No,
Yes.
the Japanese label will be the Japanese,
The label will
but
stay.
the alias.
The alias.
Of
Right.
the Japanese.
I'm not sure that's
thing.
necessary,
Yeah.
but
I mean, I guess that's a matter of personal preference, but I was wondering if there is a decision by the community to do this or this.
I don't know. I'm not.
There is no formal rule, I guess.
There's no
but,
formal.
to my opinion, it could make sense.
Okay.
I, for example, put for paintings, I will put the original language name of the painting as the alias. Say it's a French painting, or it's most well known as a French painting.
Yeah.
I will put the French name as an English alias,
Yeah.
as well as
So you're
Yes,
doing
yes,
like
of
the
course.
other
opposite.
kinds of English aliases.
Yeah.
So if it's La Joconde,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so the item in English is Mona Lisa, but I'll put an alias in English, La Joconde,
Okay.
because it's the official name. There's even the property official name or name in original language.
Yeah.
Or
There
for
can
a
only
person,
be
you
one
have name
alias?
in native language.
For each language.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
there
what
can
I'm
only
talking.
be
I was
one
talking
alias
about
for each
kind of
language.
the opposite than Liam's.
It's the same idea.
Yeah, it's the same
Per
idea.
language.
Of
you,
like when you have, let's say you're opening an item for a Japanese actor.
yes.
So you'll have the Japanese letters
Wait, yes.
under the name, but then if you don't want to put other labels for other languages, someone told me at least put in the alias, the English name, in the alias, not the label, the alias in
Yes.
Japanese. Because it's like when we put in parentheses,
Exactly.
right on the wiki page itself.
That makes sense.
Yes, because it will show easier in queries and it's the check
Exactly.
and
Exactly, and
So-
then people can translate it to
Yes.
other languages.
Japanese is tricky because the same kanji can be pronounced different
Yeah,
way. So
exactly.
if you are not sure how the name is pronounced in Japanese, you can't translate it in English.
Yeah.
Some languages you have the Russian names. You know what transliteration tool, and you can automatically create English.
Yeah, I mean, that was just
but
an
in Japanese
example.
you can't.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
aliases.
take many languages, it's like that. The pronunciation could be tricky. So
Yes.
my question was about creating a label versus an alias, and I
Yeah.
got an answer. That it makes
Maybe not
sense.
get like too distracted because I think we have 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Huh.
okay.
Oh my god.
There was one other question. Stas, you had a question?
Yeah, I was not sure about what's the point of copying labels from other languages into aliases.
We should probably
Why-
move this.
Yeah, let's talk about it later on. It's not related to the.
We've taken too much time.
Shouldn't have taken that long.
Let's
Okay. I will immediately start with an example. For example, the sister cities. Here we search for a Belgium country, a Belgium city who has a sister city. Okay, so this is here, sister city. And then for the sister city, we are looking for the sister city that doesn't refer back to the Belgium city.
Hmm.
Okay, So then automatically we can create the sister city using QuickStatements. So I go to my query here. By the way, it's mentioned in the presentation, in the slides. You can go to my user space and then you will see all those queries here. For example, so I have prepared this query. I run it. So, and I see that Antwerp has as a sister city Rotterdam, but Rotterdam doesn't have Antwerp as a sister city. Okay, you can verify it. Rotterdam is here, and if you activate constraint checking in your user preferences of Wikidata, you see already here that the constraint is violated. Rotterdam doesn't have Antwerp as a sister city. So that you can find in your preferences. Here below, you can activate check constraints. And then you see the explanation mark. So then what I do a download. I download the CSV. And then I have the CSV here. So I see the queue number for Antwerp. I see the queue number for Amsterdam. So then the only thing I should do is I take the Amsterdam queue number from position 3 till the end, or till let's say 20, to be sure that it is long enough. A quote instead of a semicolon. Okay, and it's not 3, it's 4. No, 5. Okay, I have the queue number. Then I just have to repeat the property P1 0.
I'm sorry, but
Yes.
do you know the tool CSV to QuickStatements? Because
No.
we made a tool to do that for you.
Okay, sorry,
And
no, I don't know.
it would be so much easier to not do manually something we can do automatically.
Yes. Okay, sorry, I didn't know.
Okay, just 1 second, I'll add the link in the back.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually I have prepared the work already before. So I have the 2 queue numbers. It can be thousands. I can just copy paste all of them. I copy those statements to now my window of QuickStatements, which is here. Okay, I paste it. You see, there is one thing. The first time you execute a query, you need to identify yourself with how is it called? The authentication tool OAuth. So okay, you have also kind of a user guide that you can show or hide. So now I am executing the query. It's already done. So, but it can take 1 to 5 minutes before everything is replicated from Wikidata to Sparkle, the Sparkle database. But at least online, I should see here that the sister city has been added. You see sister city, and then Antwerp. We should see. It is. You see, it has been added. And if I look into the history, yes. So the history, you will see my username, that effectively I have done it with the QuickStatements. Okay, it was only 1 row now, but if you have 10,000, it works the same way. And I will use your tool.
Yeah, the link is in the back now.
Okay. Yeah.
And can you add quick quantifiers as well, or qualifiers? Was the quick statements?
I guess so, yes. Yeah. Good. So this was an easy example. Here you, in the PowerPoint, you can review what I have been doing interactively by sharing some results. Okay, what is important? With quick statements, you have a really powerful tool, but you can easily mass replicate, mass generate a lot of errors, which you should take really care about that. For example, the difference between adding a label or a description, it is just one letter, L, and then the language code, or a D for description, followed by the language code. If you swap the two, then yeah, the label and the description arrive in the wrong position. So
you can't do a rollback, yeah, on that.
you can re-execute your transactions. You can keep your same Excel file and you replace once again the L by a D, and then you execute again. This is the most easy thing to correct, but you should avoid it, of course. What I do is, when I generate a transaction file of 10,000 modification, I only paste the first row, I execute, I verify. If it is okay, I execute the remaining 10,000.
Is there a way to revert, like a mass?
A mass revert, I don't think so.
There is a bot which is called Rollbot, which you can ask
One of the.
you can ask the bot operator to okay, please revert all the contribution by
This
This
user
user
from
from
this
this day.
contribution to this contribution.
Cool.
So, clean up.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the name of the bot?
Wallbots.
Rollbot. ROLLB.
Oh, rollbot. Okay.
Okay. Then prepare yourself.
As well.
I talk from experience. I have executed my automatic update for neighboring cities, but there was one, apparently in the Second World War, the city Charleroi and his communes, but by the Germans, was really changed, and then after the World War it was rolled back into the old situation. So I was another user edited my discussion page and said, stop creating all those duplicates and all those reciprocal neighboring cities. It doesn't make sense. But then I explained to him friendly that, if one city contains the other one or is the neighbor of the other one, and the other should be the neighbor as well. Yeah, it was normal that I executed all those things because the other cities, they were end dated. They had a start and end date, so the reciprocal should be end dated as well. Okay? So
I would imagine that at some point it would become automated, right?
yes.
That if we have something like that,
Also,
even
yes.
like father son, son
Yes,
father.
of course, I agree. Okay, so this is.
So if we have 2 minutes, maybe you can show the
Yeah.
tool that you used for quick statements. Is that possible? Can you?
Sure.
Yes, of course.
Everybody wants
Okay,
that?
yes, of course.
See,
At the end of the presentation, you find some more
Okay, so
references.
Perfect.
in what language is your computer?
Windows?
Windows.
English.
English,
Yes.
perfect. I
But
can use English, but
It's in
on
QWERTY.
German
It's
keyboard I am like,
okay. But
what is happening? So English I can do.
what do you need?
Well, I will need access to Wikidata and
Okay.
a query, and I will go on my user page. I have
Yeah,
like some
okay.
queries. Sorry. Wikidata.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I will go on.
hold it for you if you're
Oh,
very
thank you.
tired.
I will go. Sorry, I will go on my user page because I have like links. So, okay. Yeah, you have monobook on your page, so no problem.
I can change it.
No problem. I will just go on. Wow.
You're typing
And it's in QWERTY,
Not-
sorry.
not
I will put
QWERTY,
it in.
QWERTY.
QWERTY is okay for you?
QWERTY is okay, yeah, I just
wait.
need to. Oh. QWERTY is okay.
Okay, can you just type in Harmonia Amanda?
Yeah, Harmonia Amanda. Like this. It's, can you go on my user page, please? Sorry.
Is it okay this way?
There's a missing R.
Missing R.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, thank you for doing
Oh,
this.
I can put it in as if then you can read the keys.
How
Use a
many
microphone.
Wikidata
Just
Yes.
do a
take
Control
to?
Shift. Control Shift. Yeah. Now you can read the keys.
Yep.
No?
I don't. Can you use the underscore and Amanda?
Yes. Yeah. I
Underscore.
will switch back to QWERTY.
Or space, it will work with the space.
Amanda.
Amanda.
It will work. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Gone.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Because
Yay.
the tools I use are on my user page, so you have actually CSV to quick statement here, and I will just go and do. Sorry, I have like too many. Yes, go, and one will work like yes. No, maybe not because it's EV. This one is EV, and we can't have. Yes, this one. This one should work even if. Okay, so I will have this one.
What is it?
It's a query of family names which are linked as different from a disambiguation page, but the disambiguation page doesn't have the backlink different from the family name. So yeah, wait. So I
Reverse property, so.
say revert properties. It was already written, so this is easy. Okay, I download the CSV, which is this one. No, it's not this one.
It is.
Oh.
It is, but
It's just
you need to do a trick.
Oh, yeah. Can you do that in
Yeah, yeah.
like
Okay, so
clinical lens, like I am?
So you simply drag and drop into Excel. And it
It's-
disappears.
or you can you can use LibreOffice, which actually asks you before opening a CSV about
Yeah.
the encoding.
Yeah, probably. No.
Dizzy.
Actually, that's the
What
most
I do,
fascinating to see
I
how other
download it
Wikidacons
as a
work.
DSV.
It's always, everybody has like a
Does it
different
work in
process. It's
TSV?
awesome.
No,
I
not-
love
No,
not
it's true, yeah. Well, it's.
You learn so
CSV.
much,
I
you
want
know,
a
of how
CSV
people
in
work.
column. Like,
But then we split
You
it into
notice how
different
difficult
columns.
it is.
yes,
Okay,
exactly.
Yeah.
data.
I'm not sure we have time for another.
You would
Yeah,
use
text to
I
columns.
don't know.
Yes, text to column. Like,
Yeah, but I think it will go further. It will just plug it like
So,
it's in
I
French.
think the session is over, right?
like yes,
So you-
comma should be, yeah,
Yeah,
wait.
right? Or DC?
But for all,
Well, I run the DC meetup and I noticed that you've been a member of the
Yeah,
meetup at
yeah.
some
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
What's your
No.
name again?
Marco,
No,
Okay.
you have to expand.
but I think you.
okay, can I have like my laptop or yours?
No, because there is no
Yeah.
HDMI.
Oh,
Yeah.
You have the.
You live
yes,
I mean,
okay, good. So I have this, which is, should be your result when you open a CSV. So can you, yeah. I will select this part because I don't care at all about this part. I will go like everything, just replace all. So as I made nothing in the part, it's delete this part. I don't want it. Close. So here I only have the query ID I want. The first column I name.
You know, I can actually update the tool so that it does that automatically.
Yes, you can, but right now you don't, so I do that. Okay, delete, I don't care, and then, so the first column is the items I want to edit. The second column is the property I want to add. So I will just make here the name of the property. So, oh no,
Control
it's
shift. Control shift.
Control Shift. No. yeah. So this is the number of the property different from. I do that. Why there is no, well, I think we did this, but no way matter. So I have this, okay, I want that. And then I will go on CSV to QuickStatements, where it is on the computer, the tool.
You auto paste it?
I-
Or copy it? You can-
No, I don't want to copy
Okay.
it, I just want to go on the tool page.
Yes,
Yes, no, not this one, CSV to QuickStatement, this one.
okay.
Okay, so here I want to go where my file is,
It's
so
in the downloads.
downloads,
Top, okay, yeah.
downloads, so it should be this one.
Yes.
And then I say, yes, I know. Why? What this? Oh, because it's not a CSV, it's a TSV.
Ah, you have
Okay,
chosen the
so-
wrong one. You
No, it's
opened
not a
the
CSV,
wrong
it's a
one.
CSV with
You opened the wrong file.
no.
No, I opened the correct one, but where it is?
Go back to bestand kiezen. To,
It's an encoding problem.
click over there.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Okay, because we have two query. Okay, so I need to. Can I don't save this one? Don't save. So
This is real life.
yes,
Right.
this is real life.
This
It's not
is
my
what
computer, so it
Wikidata
doesn't
does.
work. No. It said to me that I have not chosen a CSV, so this one, and then I say why?
Because there is an encoding problem.
Yeah. Isn't there a problem with
It's because you have.
with comma and semicolon?
Oh
Yes,
yes,
exactly.
yes. We have actually the same problem we had when we opened it. It's it doesn't understand what we are using to delimitate columns. So at first we needed to have comma and then to add point and comma. I don't know the name in English.
So can I?
But if on your computer, if you use the CSV, basic CSV, it should work.
I think we have to stop here because
Yes.
it's time for the next
Okay, but you do that, it's just click to validate, it generates to you the code to copy in QuickStatements. So,
Cool.
yes.
Okay,
Thanks,
you.
Shop. Thanks for sharing.
Ouais, Excel. I don't like Excel. Il faut que je change ça. Il faut que je change de salle parce que je vais Yes.
Das wäre besser, weil es eine bessere
Can you explain something to me? That wasn't clear. Can you open, I think,
C'est dans ma sous-page théâtre, c'est celle qui dit notre unité tout en bas, c'est la page, j'ai une sous-page théâtre. Et c'est celle qui dit descend en dessous de handicapés pendant tendance. C'est family names linked to the application page where it's nothing back.
So that's the query.
That's my query.
The query generates list. You export it to CSV. And then
Just as a brief question, who's still fiddling with the queries and who is interested in the scenario documentation session?
that's the UX and
That's the UX one.
we're interested.
Cool. So I would assume everybody still being in here is being involved in the workshop. Otherwise, run now. Great. So yeah, the basic idea I will introduce you to a little method to share workflows, and I show you some examples, and then I will set you up with like ways to document it. So basically the idea is that I noted in my user research, which like means I talk to people who use Wikidata and ask them to show me how they do editing, that there are all sorts of ingenious ways to get work done well. For new users, it's like sort of getting work done in a way that they sort of reduce the errors. For very experienced users, it's about like being really fast, getting a lot of meaningful edits. And I thought it would be awesome to get that more in the open. So I hope at the end of the session, we will have documented our workflows in a way that it's shareable and that we can upload on Commons. So we will have like a large-ish sheet of paper for each person. And then we can share it with everybody, I hope. So that's the basic idea. So behind me is a page, usefulness and usability. And I'll show you some sort of so-called scenarios. So basically, those describe what and why people do something with sort of typical steps. You have some users who would do that. You have particularly here an example, like a list of things that are going to happen. I make that a bit larger. So here, for example, we have an example of a glam person who wants to add like lots of different images to Wikidata. And that scenario describes their problem, describes why they are doing it, and particularly describes these steps. And this is what we want to focus on today. And that's, I think, almost everything you need to know, at least sort of in that classroom-like situation. I would ask like everybody like back there to move a bit up so we can easier work together. Then I will share out like some materials and explain how we do that. Everybody fine with that? Cool.
Tricky.
Okay.
Yes, it was on the presentation.
Nee, ist für jeden.
I'm not sure.
So, first do task, make pairs, like just people sort of who sit together. So, like 2 people work together each in that task, and I will tell how that works. You can't fail.
It was by Jens, right?
So everyone gets a large piece of paper.
Do you want me to pass out your paper while you explain things?
Yeah. Do you want to pass it around? Okay, cool. So basic idea is like if we want to document it in a way that like if we upload that on Commons or if we talk to each other later on, we still understand it. Like we need sort of some other person to check it against with if they understand it. And this is like how the task is shared. Like one person talks about how they work on Wikidata. The other person will sort of ask questions and check if they understand it. Sounds pretty passive, but that's sort of my main job basically in my research. It's like asking little questions like, what happens at that step? Can you show me this? Particularly about showing, it's good if you have your computer. It's not mandatory, but it's like very useful. This like helps to get something that we understand.
One per person? Did I misunderstand that?
No, one per person.
One per person.
But like you can start with one first, because you will only have, like, in the first go you have one person documenting the workflow, and in the second go then the other.
Oh.
If the space is too few, you can sort of make them in half, I think. They're a bit largish, but it's like difficult to get those medium-sized formats for some reason.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that looks great. So, everybody set up? Cool, okay. So, like, decide which person gets the first go. I would sort of keep the time of that, 20 minutes. For the task, if it goes faster, we just switch earlier. And so, like, take a minute time to pick that one person that starts with documenting and find, like, the thing you would currently do on Wikidata, or that is even a task you do every day. Like, find something to do. If you have a computer with you, like, be able to demonstrate it, like show it to the other person, narrate through it, and then you document that together. Easiest way usually is that the person who isn't showing it on the computer, like the person whose workflow gets documented, just does the showing and telling, the other person will write. So, like, so I would document Amanda's workflow. Like, Amanda would be sitting in front of the computer and telling, like, something, okay, like, this is my task every day. I go through the watch list and I filter for these and that items and I open them all in my many tabs. And then I would be writing, oh, wait, stop. So I need to write that down. So first you go to the watch list and I write, go through the watch list, activates filters. And I have a look at this. Is this right? Yeah, it's right. Okay. Next point. So what were you doing again? Yeah, you were opening them all in tabs, right? Yeah, right. Okay. Then I'm writing the tab thing, and so on. And at the end, you get a list. And if you want to get fancy, you can do like workflow things with arrows and so on. Just don't aim for a too complex model. Often the list is pretty fine, and sometimes points loop, and that's all the magic to it. Did everybody find a task to do to document?
Did everyone find a partner?
Everyone. Every second.
You don't have a partner.
I don't have a partner, but I can document it on my own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was just super interested in how you're running this. I don't actually have any Wikidata workflows.
Okay.
But you can write mine down.
Well, I can write yours down.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely.
All right. Good.
Okay.
The reason for this amount of paper is that
Actually, my workflow is I go to Alex Stinson's user page.
What?
And I see what tools he's using.
Oh, you Wikistalk people.
And then I change it to stuff that I'm interested
So first
in.
step would be, before you start with
There's
your
no shame in
workflow,
that.
write down like some sort of name and when you're going to do that. Like sort of like every morning, or currently because it's my favorite project, or whatever. Like give it some sort of title and give it a little bit of context. Like you saw in the scenarios, it had something like, it's a glam person and currently working on like getting all images of front go into the Wikidata database or something like that.
Are you already doing it?
Not yet.
Right, here's like the story thing up there.
Oh, story, okay.
What what's your user story? What are we going to be trying to do?
Let me see. So I've done several scenarios. I'm trying to see which one's the best one to just document. That would be. So.
The gnarliest one.
Gnarly? You want like the most complex?
I want the one that's like
With
the
bells and
most
whistles?
cringeworthy. Like, how much shit do you have to go through to get this done? Because that's the ones that I'm interested in for my project. So.
Oh, because of comments.
Yeah.
Okay, let me think of it. Okay, so then I won't do the OR stuff because you don't care about ORs.
And if you use a second sheet of paper, also fine.
Okay,
But I don't need to use.
good. That helps. And now I'll show you. It's not too cringeworthy, but it gets involved. So the basic idea is, so I'll give you two scenarios. One is working on TV episodes. So these are like serial lists of things, right? And then, so this is using a formula in Google Sheets or Excel, doesn't matter, to create the quick statements to complete TV episode collections of Wikidata. Okay, so you probably know like The Simpsons is pretty complete because people love The Simpsons. But what about these lesser known series, right? So these series like King of the Hill or
When you say complete,
complete,
what
yeah.
do you mean? What does the word mean?
It means that Simpsons is so popular that every single episode of Simpsons is in Wikidata to the point where it has almost everything from IMDb or anything else in there, like who directed the episode, what episode number, when it aired, all this stuff.
So all the necessary statements for each episode.
Yeah, it's hard to say necessary, but like very well, like for any given TV episode, that's pretty complete in Wikidata. Simpsons is quite high up there because it's so popular across languages, cultures. Now what happens is when you get these other kind of more, not quite fringe, but not as popular TV episodes, you basically have, even like something as popular as Mad Men in the US, was not complete. Like maybe only 1 out of 3 episodes of Mad Men were actually in Wikidata. And even then, it was kind of haphazard. Like someone might have had a favorite episode and complete that one, but no one looked at the whole set of episodes from beginning to end and inserted them in a concerted way.
So, okay, so, I don't want your timer. I want your instructions.
Okay, good, 20 minutes, we can do that. So the idea is, how do you get complete sets of TV episodes there into Wikidata?
Okay, so, it's,
Not even statements, but even create new items. Like not even all the items are there. So one is to survey what's there. Like, do we even know how complete it is? So that's the first thing, just to probe the completeness of a set of
So
TV
that's
episodes.
step one.
Step one. Probe the completeness through a Wikidata query.
okay.
And that would be run a Wikidata query saying, show me all episodes of this TV series.
Okay, so we'll start yet again.
Give me an example series.
So I said Mad Men. I think it's even here. Or Mr. Robot, or Archer. So I did those 3. And then what you do is you basically say, show me all instances of that. But then what you do also is say optional, air date, optional. You just have the optional, because you want, if it's there, I want to see it. If it's not there, I still want to see that item. Right?
Okay, so this is within the query.
Right, so run a query saying, show me all episodes. The basic statement is, show me episodes of Mad Men. But then say, optional, air date, optional, everything. So just optional is for the fields I'm interested in, which tend to be like air date and series number, like is it episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I just want to see what's there. If it's not there, that's fine. I just want to see if there's a hole or whether there's something there. Right? And there are probably a few other ones, but it doesn't matter. But
something, whatever. I don't know.
yeah, just, I mean, these are the basic ones here.
We'll just turn this into an etc.
I think they call it series ordinal in Wikidata.
Ooh.
Yeah. As optional, right? The optional curly brace in the Wikidata query.
Cool.
So just to survey the landscape, right? So maybe that's what I did here is I prepped Archer. So what I can do is just do a Wikidata query, find out what's there, what's not there. And then what I did is then I go to IMDb or the Wikipedia page for like list of episodes of Mr. Robot or Mad Men is pretty complete.
Wait, so you ran your query.
I wrote my query, I got the results back,
You ran it.
and I say, is it fairly complete? Oh yeah, it's pretty complete. I just need to fill in some holes. Or sometimes it's, wow, only 1 out of every 3 episodes is here. There's a lot of missing stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So what I do is the Wikipedia page list of Archer episodes or list of Mad Men episodes is pretty complete. It's just that the Wikidata doesn't have it.
So it's check weakness against
Right.
Pages of Mayhem.
Against
English Wikipedia?
against I want to say against good sources. So that would be IMDb/Wikipedia page. Yeah. And then what I do is, so for something like this, like Mr. Robot, let's say, I grabbed all the episode names from Wikipedia and threw them in a spreadsheet.
I'm just asking because I had enable widgets.
From source, right?
Yeah, so the thing is...
Right, from one of these good lists, whether it's IMDb or Wikipedia. Usually the Wikipedia article is quite good. It's to that, you know, the zealots have gotten to Wikipedia, but they haven't gone to Wikidata. Right? Or the real fans.
Amazing.
Right. So, for example, let's say I'm just making the entries. So, pretty much I want to try to make it as, you know, the episode name, the air date, and at least that's it. Just a starter. If I want to make a new item, I just want to at least say, here's the episode name. It's going to be, it's going to have the label as the episode name, and then the air date.
You don't need to document how to turn it on.
That makes sense?
Okay, wait, so this is...
This is a spreadsheet, so I'm using a spreadsheet now. So
But this is only for those ones that are new? Or this is
right,
for...
so this would be creating new ones. So
Okay,
kind of
so-
starts with creating new ones.
Okay.
You need another
I need another...
marker? Color. Okay, good.
By the way, if people like more colors, lots of it here.
Okay, so, excellent.
Right.
So, then you want, so where do you get the...
So I got these from the Wikipedia article or IMDb, just a list of everything. Here's the air date. I also got from that same list, whether it's IMDb or Wikipedia article. Sometimes I'll cross-check and make sure it's the same thing. Right, so it's a good time to also double-check the Wikipedia article. Whether it's a good source. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have another widget enabled, which pops up.
Oh, that's so ugly. Oh, that's still super ugly.
That's all right.
So wait, so this is 4A. Check.
May need another sheet for you.
Sorry.
No, it's good.
Check accuracy of sources.
Yeah, it's annoying when you don't need a bigger screen. So okay, it's annoying. Back to the data thing.
Okay, so where are we now? I double-checked the name of the...
So you've checked the accuracy of the sources against the...
Right. So now I'm sure of the episode name and the air date.
Yeah.
So let's say Mr. Robot, for example. So I know Mr. Robot, the series name is Q. So Mr. Robot is Q188444729.
Oh wait, so like somewhere in there you've already added the...
Well, so I've looked up. Right, I'll look up, like, what is Mr. Robot, the TV series? What's its Q number? It's 188444729. So I'm kind of ready to prepare my quick statement. So the end goal here is to create the quick statement itself, create those items, and add the right instance of and series name.
Enter
of the series, yeah, the Q number.
name and instance.
Right, and then it's an instance of a TV series episode. So, yeah. Yeah, are we there? I think we're there. Good. All right, so once we have this, we say, here's Mr. Robot's Q number. It is a TV series episode. We know the episode name, we know the air date. So this is how we can create a quick statement to create the item and assign it this label, this air date, this series, and this instance of.
So it's We use formula to generate quick statement based on info and spreadsheet.
Correct. So use a spreadsheet formula to make quick statements, and in this case, it's 4 quick statements, 4 quick statement declarations per episode.
And if you have any open questions, like how exactly do you do that? And so on. Yeah, it's fine. It should be also understandable for people who are not stewards and so on. Like it's just sort of that everything is clear. And that's what we saw your tester, if he can understand it without making too many assumptions of like, you know, it's the idea that it's like
So you use quick statements before?
Yes.
Okay. So here's how it goes. So what happens is I'll look it up and say, you know, if that episode exists already, I can just delete the quick statement, right? So in this case, I don't think there was anything entered for Mr. Robot. No, it's doing dictation. Stop it.
Amazing.
Yeah, if it was completely missing, I would just copy and paste these, and boom, you're off to the races. But I might see like episode 1 through 4 was made, but no one finished the rest of the series. So I might just delete the quick statements for 1 through 4.
Already exists.
Less than 10 minutes left, just sort of.
So this is really kind of more of a creation workflow, right? So you can see that for each episode it creates 4 declarations. We got another sheet here. So it does a create, right? It does create, and then you can use the last thing just to refer to the last thing that was created, right? So you can see last, the label in English is this episode name, right? And then you can still refer to the last thing that we created. The air date, P1191, is this. So you actually have to convert this into this canonical time string there, right? And then you say last P31, meaning it's an instance of this, right? And then this is a series that. So, right. So once I've kind of done this once, if I want to do another series, it's really easy because all I do is replace these 2 columns, change these 2 numbers, and your formula is all kind of ripple through. So it's create the item, set the label, set the time or the air date, set the instance of TV series, and the series, Mr. Robot. Boom, boom, boom. So I just copy this, paste in the quick statements 2. These are the generated quick statements. Boom, 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 boom. I can copy that whole column and go to quick statements 2.
So show me.
Okay, so here's the complex thing, and I actually have to fix this. The directions for quick statements is in quick statements 1. Even the quick statements 2 directions are in quick statements 1, which is really annoying. So, yes. So if I go to quick statements 2 and I say visit the tools page, there's like no documentation. I see login, blah, 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 OAuth. Okay, so import commands. Version 1 format. So this is so-so, but if you go to the quick statements 1 documentation, it's actually much better. So if you go here, you know, it's much better detailed explanation. Like they don't even tell you how to do the time conversion correctly here.
Wow.
Right? So this is really bad. Like you need to have one eyeball here. You're not going to use this tool, but this is color coded. It's got the time conversion. It's got longitude, latitude. This is really robust.
So when
but look at this. This is the documentation.
So when you're actually up here looking at generating this, you have to
look at quick statements 1 documentation. I hope it doesn't go away or we're in real trouble.
So next step, we're doing the same, switching roles.
And even worse, the quick statements 2 page doesn't even point you to quick statements 1 to show you what the documentation is. You just have to kind of know.
Yeah, I would. Like I would check
What's the name of this subject? We can use Wikidata.
Okay, right, so I'm in quick statements 2. This is awesome because I can even preview. So like I can even come in here and preview it Please don't let me hit the execute button, otherwise we're making duplicate entries here. But anyway, here's quick statements 2. I paste in all that stuff. Create last, quick. Oh, here's another thing. Is how do you get these things to break the line, right? It's like, it looks like one long string here, but when you paste it in, it does long. That's actually a trick. You need to enter in a ASCII character 13 here manually, or it won't paste correctly.
Okay.
I know this is a little weird detail, but it's important.
So this is
But there are some.
Also, like, so you copy the link to
It's 13 character return. Let's see, ASCII. Oh shoot, character.
That's right,
ASCII character 13 is a line feed. I can't remember. Let's see.
a line break?
No, carriage return.
Carriage return.
Right. This is always the confusingness. Carriage return line feed. Quick Statements likes to see a carriage return ASCII character 13. It doesn't like to see a line feed. And that really threw a lot of people for a loop. And I discovered this, and I've helped a lot of people through this bug. Not bug, this obstacle.
Picture, carriage return.
Right. You can say character 13.
Small thing about this is
Somewhere.
Alright.
Otherwise, on new pages, you just visit and
So Quick Statements will take that correctly.
Oh yeah.
but here it's like more advanced.
So this is a little bit of a detail, but
Maybe with that.
No, but it's like, that's exactly the sort of thing.
right. This I know someone hung up on this for days. Like,
Yeah.
why is this working? And they're like, oh, it's character 13. Right. So here's another thing: is this. So Quick Statements 1 can only take tab as a separator, right? Quick Statements 1.
Yeah.
Quick Statements 2 is much more convenient in that you can take the pipe character to separate them, right? So you don't have to say last tab. I hate invisible characters, right? So last tab, this tab, like, is there a tab? Is that space? I don't know. So I like the pipe. The problem is there's no visible character to separate each quick statement, which is annoying because now you have a pipe, but there's no visible character to separate those things.
So how does that affect you?
It affected me because it took me like an hour to figure out why this wasn't working, but I figured it out. But for people who don't know ASCII, which is like computer programming stuff,
Yeah.
it was days. Like they would like hit the generate button and it wouldn't work. And I've answered that a few times in the Facebook group. It's like, oh, it's this.
So review.
Right. So go to Quick Statements 2, import commands, and then you paste in your quick statements.
Review import QS in QS.
Right.
To.
Okay, so I pasted all in, right? And then basically it's create last.
So.
Okay. And then when I hit the import button, you'll get a preview, right, of everything that's going. So double check. And I will not hit execute.
So I just wanted to capture this. It's easier to read. Review.
Oh, you're talking about the pipe character? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to view visible characters, yeah, versus tabs. Like pipe is better than tab, basically.
Okay, cool.
Alright.
So now we hit what?
What was it? It was, you paste in the commands and hit import.
Import.
And then you get a preview in Quick Statements 2 of what it's going to do. So just sanity check. It's going to create an item, then it's going to operate on that item for the next 4 statements here. Right? Yeah, and I can see now that it's P1191 is first performance is what you want for an episode. It's not date, it's first performance.
Oh, it's not air date, really?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Can I have one?
Yeah.
So you're reviewing this.
I'm reviewing it, just a
And
sanity
you-
check.
and
I only
you
have to review like
see-
one of them, one block.
And you see that one of your properties is jank.
I do?
Well, you said that like.
No, it's
this-
not janky. It's like I just forgot that it was first performance. Like in my spreadsheet, it was just called date something, air date.
Oh,
But-
so that doesn't actually affect the output.
So it's a good thing you asked me that because basically I researched like 3 or 4 other TV series. How do they do it? Like I looked at Simpsons, I looked at Star Wars, or Star Trek, and everything. Like,
That's like
they
way up
want
here.
Right. That's kind of like research beforehand. You're right. That's a good thing. So look at complete. Like what are the best practices in these sets right now? Right.
So,
Where would that be? I don't know.
Show episodes.
So I guess even before this, like, why would I even know to look for these? It would be before this. It would be like 0. Like, research well-modeled TV series for what they use as the properties and the instances and everything. Right? I wish there was a better way. I mean, if you have a good wiki project, you go to the wiki project and they recommend these are the properties you should use. I'm kind of not that organized, so I'll just go to 2 or 3 sets I respect and then go with that. Right.
Oh, that doesn't make sense. At wiki project.
Category
if exists,
for the simplicity.
Or to
Basically architecture info, because it's architecture by language, but language is like
Okay, good. That's good backtracking.
the first level of.
All right, so basically I've gotten these properties because I've looked at other well-formed series, right? So first performance, this is one of the tougher ones to make sure this time string is correct, right? Instance of TV series episode, series, Mr. Robot. So just a sanity check, make sure this is all the same. Yeah, good. So I'm pretty confident if I get the first 2 right, as long as my spreadsheet was consistent here, all the other entries are going to be okay.
So if
No, this is I've only used the
first 1, 2 correct, what do we say, statements? Statements? Items?
Quick statements, yeah.
But what are we creating?
We're creating a new item,
If
and then we're going to set the label to be this, and then we're adding these properties. I mean, adding the statements. Yeah.
so
I guess check the different quick statements. Yeah.
items and statements. Then you click run.
Then I'm ready to run. Yep. And I'm not going to click that.
I use
So what if it's not?
Well, so what I do is I kind of go to my Wikidata. I just go to Wikidata and hit contributions and just make sure that as this thing is running, boom, 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 I just make sure that my contributions start to show those edits at the top there. Boom, 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 boom.
Wait, so if you notice in your review.
Yeah, I go to my user contributions just to make sure that, you know, they're being added.
Oh wait, so even if it was off?
Even if it was off?
So like if you go to review, you know, and you see like, oh, you know, like the date isn't whatever, like the value isn't what you expect it to be.
Oh, then you go back and fix it. Yeah.
Then you return to your spreadsheet to fix it?
Yeah, I go to my spreadsheet to fix it. Yeah. If anything seemed off.
Yeah, and the outcome of it will be a list of.
How often does that happen?
Articles.
Not often. I mean, you would have caught it here, if anything. I would.
That matches the square.
Yeah, you would have had a barf on this conversion function, I think.
You can ask like
A barf. Yeah, because what am I looking at here? C5, Y, and what am I doing here? Okay. Oh yeah, because this would have barfed here, I think, because I'm doing a time format conversion from this to that. Right, so the fact that it made from here to here and it's recognizable means it probably made it through fine. Otherwise it would have gone south. Yeah. Okay.
Like a brief question. Would you mind me like filming a little part?
Sure. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Like this thing that's happening or him?
No, that thing that's happening.
All right. Yeah.
Thing.
I would just sort of no faces, just you talking.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't mind. You can film whatever.
Yeah. Go for it.
Can it go on Commons or?
Yes.
It's up to you.
Okay.
I'm already on Commons.
You're working on Commons and you are on Commons.
Yes.
So okay, here we go. Finish. Let you finish.
I still haven't gotten to the.
What is the 12th step?
This is you going back to your.
Oh, okay. So
contributions.
what like I don't know. I'm just like this. So when it's running, of course it's working, but I like to go to my user contributions and kind of hit refresh. Just kind of like, oh, look at that. It's filling my edit history with stuff. It's kind of like...
It's like a feeling of
yeah,
satisfaction?
it's like a delight. It's like basically like, that's cool,
Yeah.
you know? I just saved myself a lot of work by doing it this way, right? So yeah, I check the contributions and see how they're being added. Right. And the fun thing is, I don't get that satisfaction if I say run in the background, because then the QuickStatements bot does it, and I'm like, ah, man, I don't get those edits under my belt. So I like to just run it, even if it's a long thing, I have to wait. I'd rather do it under my name than to do it under the bot. Right.
This is amazing. Okay. So this is, no wait, actually we want to do it
Yeah, I
here.
have to find where the problem is.
Okay. So I click on
I don't know what comes next.
Click run.
Yeah.
Oh, so after you click run, you see the things count up. You'll see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll see the edits count up.
Yes.
And then that's when I kind of go over to my user contributions and refresh, just to make sure they're being recorded, you know, reasonably. Right. And then sometimes what I'll do is I have a Wikidata query sitting there ready, and I'll just hit run in the middle of the QuickStatements being added, and you'll see new things pop up along the way.
Oh, really?
It's kind of like seeing a plant grow. Right?
All right. So you stack up your spreadsheets, and then
Right.
you run them all at the same time, so you can just see.
I'm
the
kind of a
list.
small batch person. Like
Yeah.
I won't try to do like 5 series at a time. I'll like let's just do this two-year section first.
So you do this, you do the whole thing, all the way through, and then you start the next one?
And then I'll go to like Archer, or then I'll go to King of the Hill.
And then you'll
right?
go all the way through this, and click run, and then go
Right.
back to the
Right,
Okay.
right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is 13. Redo.
Switch to the Wikidata. That would be very interesting. Would you mind if I edit?
So the thing is now that basically search for me.
Right.
Damn.
I mean, look at this. So basically, I started with that, Mr. Robot. Then now look at this. So this is even more built out, right? So it's King of the Hill. Not only is the first performance season, the QID of that season, so I can link to that. Like I can say, you know, let me see. Yeah. So look, I even use a news function like Wikidata QID. I'm using the spreadsheet functions. You've seen these before.
Yeah.
Right? So basically now I'm saying this is going to be King of the Hill season 1. The spreadsheet will look that up in Wikidata and bring back the Q number. Here's the production code, because that's also a field that you might have. So look at this. This is the monster. I'll just copy 1 just to show you what it looks like. So now this is like that process on steroids. I'll come in here and say, this is one quick statement now. So it's make the episode, the label is pilot, the description is this. Like I didn't even do the description for the last one, right?
Yeah.
So if I want to be complete, I'll say label, description. This is the King of the Hill season. I'm pointing to the exact Q item. This is the production code. This is the first air date, and then all these other stuff, instance of and series. So I'm actually making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 statements per new item.
So why do you do one or the other? Like only if you.
So I think you're almost seeing like this like evolutionary chart here of like these are my first experiments here. So this is me like walking, and then this is me like running, which is like now I'm like filling in season QID, production code, you know, more stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Because what happened was after I did this, I'm like, oh man, I created these items, but now I have to go back and figure out extra stuff to add.
Yeah.
Well, why not just do it in the first shot?
All right. So
that's like blocks, like TV episodes, like whole chunks of TV series.
add as many as possible, so you don't have to go back later.
I think if you have a good data set, I mean, King of the Hill had all this stuff in the Wikipedia article.
So add as many as easy.
Right. It's got low hanging fruit. List of list of.
Um,
Let me see if it's just this one.
Yeah, like, so
Okay, let's see if this holds up to my recollection. Okay, so yeah, so look at here. I see I could have done this too. Directed by, written by, just didn't bother with them. But you can see this is the episode list here. It's just that, pretty much this, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at King of the Hill, this is all low-hanging fruit. It actually has like the production code and all this stuff. So I just said, yeah, I know this, I know that. Why not add it?
And so, you use this for creating new items, but you don't use it for appending statements to existing items.
This one I don't. Right, this process I don't. I have another process. So this is kind of like walk, run, and then the sprint is now we've created this kind of spreadsheet on steroids for editathons, so that we can actually take a list of articles that the institution given us. We calculate the ORA score on it. So this is like extending this, and watch this. They love this part. So we say, okay, give us a list of articles you're interested in. Okay, bring them in here. Brings in the ORA score, and then we can do analysis, and we give them this. We can say, yeah, here's 5 featured articles, 4 good. So we want to work on these down here, probably.
Yeah.
So it gives them kind of a histogram of what's the status of these articles they're interested in.
So what institution is this?
So this one was Hispanic Heritage National Archives. Yeah. So this is a Hispanic Heritage Month, whatever it was. And then we basically look at the Q number here. And then what I did was I go out and I grab the description that's in Wikidata. And you can see that some of them are well done, and then some are just missing. Like if it says ref, it says there's no description there.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing I can do right away is add the description. And I can type in the description here, you know, that.
Yeah.
And then I've got a formula here that generate the quick statement that I'll add. So this is kind of what we do now as a standard thing for editathons is give a report to the GLAM institution, but also kind of clean up the Wikidata at the same time. Even though they're probably not going to do the Wikidata, but we can kind of show them. It's kind of like a warm-up for Wikidata, especially now with Library of Congress and the Smithsonian, they're doing a lot more.
Are they?
Yeah, they're really interested in doing more. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to talk to Dominic about structure.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's been like
this is something that is necessary for us to like contribute significantly.
Yeah, he says he's got tens of thousands waiting in the wings.
Yeah, like they haven't been contributing significantly yet, right? So
like if we're this close to getting real structured data for Commons, wait now, don't bother with the category stuff. Right? That's what we're kind of thinking.
That's a real thing.
So when I showed this to like Rosie and Emily Temple Wood, when they're working on blocks of like women scientists, whatever, they're like, "Oh, this is cool. Let me do that." So the real downside of this though is that once you get above like 150 or 200, it's like 3 API calls per row.
Huh.
So you can like really swamp your not only your JavaScript engine but maybe the far side on the API side with too many calls. So, for example, like we just did one recently with the National Trust for Historic Preservation in DC, and we did this. But when you bring up the spreadsheet, it just goes, like I can't process this much in one shot here. So you can
But it's not broken. It just
it just takes. I mean, just imagine all the API calls, just like a machine gun.
Well, I mean, I can't imagine if like people use the Wikipedia tool suite in the Google spreadsheets like they should, our APIs will be totally overwhelmed.
Right.
Because it's like an amazing tool.
Right.
As long as you like spreadsheets.
Do you like spreadsheets?
I really like spreadsheets,
Yeah.
but I was talking with Ramsey, our product manager this morning, about how easy PattyPan was to use. He's like, PattyPan's not easy. And he was like, and I was like, but it's spreadsheets. And he's like, exactly, it's spreadsheets. Like, oh.
Yeah.
So I think most of the people seem to be finished. So like also since the time is coming to an end, I want to, I get the microphone.
Great. Okay. So I want sort of to give a wrap up of what I want to do with the research, how it helps me, how it helps the Wikidata team, but most of all, how I hope it can also help basically everybody who wants to have a look at it. So basic idea is, I said, sort of to document an everyday workflow that is important in editing Wikidata. And on one hand, it would help help me when I do design for Wikidata to consider actual situations that happen. Like, you know, if you sit in your office in front of your computer, you have all sorts of weird theories what people actually are doing. And it's really cool to see, A, if weird theories are actually like something people actually do, and B, to learn something new and see how much you were off in your guesses. So this is like really, really important. And naturally we hope by that to improve the software for everyone. But also I think, and this is like a little thing I wrote into the proposal for that session as well, I think it can be cool for the community in general, or at least I hope so, by like sharing the variety of workflows that we all have, and by sort of learning some different ways that can be useful for each other in different situations, on like hopefully concrete examples. Because I know that when I ask in my interviews like users, well, how did you learn about these gadgets and so on, they usually tell me like, I was told by somebody that I could use it, which is super awesome, but maybe some people are not that often at conferences, and maybe it's like really cool if they look at our documentations and see, wow, that sounds like an interesting thing to do. I could try out that gadget, for example, or try out that workflow. So, one last thing, as I said, in showing the things on Commons, just sort of if you think, well, I'm not comfortable with that, sharing the workflow, like it's fine, just write it on there or take it with you. Also, if you have your username on it written, if you're not fine with having that public, like write it on there that you want to have it blurred by me or something else that's clear. Anything like that, sort of what I would do, like photograph these things, tell that they were done in a workshop, give some context and upload them to Commons. If you sort of want to tweak anything about that process regarding privacy, whatever, like just tell me, no problem. Those things will be still useful for me just looking at them, but I think it's cool if we can share them with the wider community. Okay. Then, if you have any further questions, go ahead and ask me. I think I'm not in any sort of other session directly afterwards. And thanks a lot. I think you really helped me a lot, and I think also, as I said, I hope it to be helpful for everybody else too. Thank you.
Thanks. Do you have any other particular domains of inquiry you'd like more feedback or examples of?
Well, currently we deal with editing mainly, but yeah, probably I get new ideas soon on more research.
Yeah, but it should be like.
So right now it's all about mostly editing.
This is your workflow.
Yeah.
Wikidata.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wikidata and editing Wikidata.
Yeah.
So I showed this tool to Emily Templewood.
Yeah.
And she's like, I gotta use that. So she went hog wild and started with countries starting with A. Like she did Afghanistani women and Albanian women. Did you see this going
Facebook.
through? Yeah. So that was after I showed her my tool. And she's like, you gotta give me that tool. I'm like, okay, I gave it to her. And then she just started pouring lists in there. And you know, right now it's gagging because it's the API is gagging. But you can see like, you know, she found all she wanted to set the gender to woman, and then generate the quick statements, occupation, citizenship, all that stuff, and that generated all these statements that she used to populate Wikidata.
And now there can actually.
So now you know the backstory.
Yeah.
You saw this happening, but you didn't know what the tool was.
Yeah, that's so cool. And like, I'm really glad that they have some like definitive, you know, well not definitive, but more complete representation of like what they're trying to track, because they were using like categories and this like scraper bot to try and look at like what articles were about women, and it was.
We're going to look back on those days of scraperbot and categories in like 10 years after we get all the Wikidata stuff going.
When
like,
we're all
that
grizzled.
was like horse and buggy days, right?
It'll be wonderful. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, thanks for documenting. You know, I've been exchanging emails with Jan for like a month saying, I'll do it, I'll screen record this someday. But I never got the chance, so now we've got it documented.
This is so cool. And like, it's a fascinating workflow. Like, because, you know, it's not, I feel like we don't often enough take into account the workflows that come from elsewhere, and that we should send people elsewhere for them to do, you know, like batch things more easily. Like, if we're not going to support that in, you know, in app, then we need to make sure that there's actual channels for people to like leave back, right? So they like know that they can do that.
Right.
Because you used two entirely different, not, you know, like wikidata.org websites to get this done.
Which other sites?
Well, there was the Tool Labs and there was Google Sheets.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so,
you know, after Wikimania and WikiCite, I'm feeling that I'm not really alone in this. That a lot of people have kind of stumbled onto the same kind of like tool set in different ways.
yeah. Or like a slightly, you know, tweaked one.
Right.
Yeah. Super fascinating.
Oh, thanks.
Right. And then that ORs function, right? The way they color coded those cells.
Yeah.
That's a function I wrote myself. And I've shared already with some folks after Wikimania. I gave a lightning talk about it, but I should package it into something that people can install. Or just give it to the guy who maintains the Google Sheets plugin.
Is he reachable?
I don't know at all.
Find out.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Thanks for documenting.
Thank you for sharing.
I'll take my own picture of this. I need to know my own process.
Yeah.
Like not until I talked about it did I realize the whole QuickStatements documentation issue that is always an issue for me. I'm sure I'm not the first person to notice that. Wait, is this sheet 2? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was actually interested
I'm
how you
just
do
remembering
this.
something. So you have the user, like you all put the username for the one that is talking about it on the, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't sign your name as the author.
Put put your author name on it.
At least
because
sign it
then
here.
I can also
Certified
like
by.
with good conscience upload it on Commons and give you proper credit. Otherwise it has my name and that wouldn't feel right. So please come in front. Sign the thing you documented.
Do I sign with my staff or my volunteer username?
If you don't want to have
Because
your
I'm here at the
username
conference's
on
staff.
it, like, no, you don't need
But
to
I'm
do it.
definitely not in this session.
We'll forgive you either way.
I'm just gonna sign with my real name.
Whatever you want.
I credited somebody and I
Do you use anything like this, like
myself,
Google Sheets?
So
or-
they got
Yeah.
taken down.
You can also
yeah, I
you can
was
also credit it
wondering
with anonymous.
how much of it is
No,
manual work and how much of it
Yeah,
is...
right.
The
created
first
by
one you ever do is a lot of
however you
manual
like
work,
to be
but then
credited.
after that, it's a pattern.
I'm just gonna say recorded
Right? So if you
by,
do it right,
because
so I did
feel
this
like-
with one TV series.
Yeah.
The second one is much
Recorded by is
easier,
awesome.
obviously, right? Because you figure out all the formulas.
Like just
And then you
any
just
sort
paste
of
in a list of episode names,
accreditation for
the air
Commons.
date, and
Can be
boom, all the
username,
statements are
can
made for
also
you.
be
right there.
whatever you like.
Well, of course, replace the series name, like not Mr. Robot, could be Simpsons, Star Trek, whatever you want.
Yeah.
But everything else just
Yeah, I was just
auto-generates.
wondering why this strange name I had, Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot, yeah.
That sort of-
Because it's all
yeah,
these cryptic
also
names.
created
Yes.
by
Normally,
all
it's a
the-
much friendlier name for an episode, right? Like for a normal thing, like a normal series, it'd be like that.
Yeah.
But Mr. Robot's got these crazy names because they look like file names.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
My bot is Mr. Robot.
Your bot is Mr. Robot?
Yeah. But there are multiple bots with that name, but I don't know, maybe they are with some points or things. Yeah, looks nice.
Yeah, thanks. All right, you can keep these. Actually, I just gotta shoot this one.
When did you see that?
Lucas, is the next session coming?
What's that?
The bot.
Mr. Robot?
Yeah.
Well, I made sure that Wikidata has the most up-to-date information about Mr. Robot episodes, although the new season started and I haven't fixed this yet for the new season.
I thought maybe you see the revisions of my edits.
Oh, really? No, I didn't see that.
By the way, how do you like that? How they used
Did everybody
Wikipedia
credit
to
oneself
break into
properly?
that facility?
That was pretty clever.
Unfortunately, they didn't show
Okay,
the Wikipedia page, but
Probably
something else. But
Yeah.
It wasn't
this one has
really right.
$40 edits, and no one would verify his edits. For
Right.
How can
Yeah.
we be sure?
Now the question is, would be really funny is like, well, how did he change the page and it's stuck? Maybe did someone undo it? Wouldn't it be
That's
funny if
cool.
like for years he got admin access? Like he actually runs a sock puppet that is an admin that could lock an article or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So that'd be funny.
It's like an admin. Cool.
I really like it. I never